This episode of That's Not the Finish has been powered by Bodyslam.net.
You are listening to That's Not the Finish podcast, a no-holds-barred pro wrestling podcast perfect for getting your wrestling fix. Now get ready to call for the 3 count. 1, 2, 3. And try not to get DQ'd. Because here are your hosts.
Welcome to another episode of the That's Not the Finish podcast. So today we are going to be discussing some Royal Rumble predictions. We have the Royal Rumble coming up very soon. We also have NXT Takeover Phoenix. We're going to be going over some Phoenix predictions for that card as well. And then we're going to be discussing Jack Swagger entering Bellator MMA. So let's kick stuff off here with the Royal Rumble. So what surprises are you guys thinking that we might see this year at the Royal Rumble? Dom, what do you think?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't think we're gonna have too many major surprises this year at the Rumble. I feel there's not too I guess there's normally rumors going around as to what's going on, but all the major rumors are just stuff that's not gonna happen. Like Kenny Omega is not showing up, the Young Bucks are not showing up. So as far as surprises go, I think we'll get maybe a few NXT call-ups that we weren't expecting maybe. But let's see. I think EC3 is gonna be in the Royal Rumble. I think that'll be a big he'll probably make his debut there. I think we might actually see Gargano come up. I think that's probably going to be one of the bigger things. Either Gargano or Ciampa, potentially. I don't know.
Yeah, we really are not too sure on this, but that's the whole point of the Royal Rumble. But Dave, Dave, what are some entrants that you would want to see?
Entrants I would want to see.
I keep hearing entrants.
I keep hearing that. What's his name? Bray Wyatt has this new gimmick he's trying to try out, but I think the Rumble would be a nice surprise to see him there, see him make his comeback and make an appearance. I don't know. I feel like Lars Sullivan could make an appearance, but I know he's had some anxiety issues in the past, some mental issues, so I don't know if that may happen or not. As far as NXT talent, I would like to see Dakota Kai, Io Shirai
in the women's
Rumble, yeah. As far as the women's go, but on the men's side, that would probably be it for that. I can't think of anybody else. I think the roster itself will kind of fill out and go from there.
Yeah, I've been hearing some crazy. Obviously, there's always some crazy rumors going around about what entrants are going to be coming into the Royal Rumble, and recently we just heard about Abyss and also Sanjay Dutt leaving Impact Wrestling, and of course there's the whole thing oh, what would you do if Abyss actually entered the Royal Rumble? And I was no, he's not entering the Royal Rumble. It's Kenny Omega entering the Royal Rumble. It's not going to happen, but it's just fun to think about those things. It's just what people like to imagine. But the entrance that I would really like to see is on the women's side. I would like to probably see what Dave said here, Dakota Kai. I also think that Io Shirai might also make an appearance as well. Possibly, maybe even Kairi Sane again. I would definitely think that Kairi Sane would. She made an appearance at last year's Royal Rumble, but it was a really short entry. She just basically came in there, dropped her elbow, and then kind of ran away and ran out of it. But in this one here, I feel if she was to make an appearance at this year's Royal Rumble, I think it would probably be for a much longer amount of time. I think that Sane would probably maybe even be in some of the final entrants there, quite possibly, or at least more towards the end, because she is a lot more over than how she was when she first came in. Some on the men's, I would definitely probably say that we would probably see the return of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. I really think that we might see one of them, if not both of them, enter the Rumble at the at different times, of course. I would also probably say that for NXT talent in the men's, I would probably say probably EC3, and I don't know about Lars Sullivan, but I've heard that he's been having some issues, right, with his mental health.
Yeah, what I heard was he was having some anxiety issues, and the WWE had to call audible at one point. So it could be something more than that, but I haven't heard too much about that. So I mean, hope he's okay though. But I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, that's insane. I was hearing some stuff that he was, like on social media about his mental health, and then also just some other, controversies that he was involved in. But hopefully stuff will get straightened out with him really soon, and hopefully he could actually make his debut. I think that, well, obviously we kind of know it, but I think that, but obviously we're going to see Lacey Evans enter the Women's Royal Rumble, and there was also something that was going around social media. People were complaining that they were announcing the entrance of the Royal Rumble before the event started. Now these, entrants, they weren't unknown really. Like, it was pretty obvious that they were going to come into the Rumble, right, Dom?
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. I'm on their side actually. So I mean, I'm gonna take. Yes, there are everyone like there's the major wrestlers that are expected to enter the Rumble, like Seth Rollins, Drew Galloway, all those like major people. But I like the element of surprise. Like I don't like having like everyone say I'm in the Rumble already or I'm gonna be in the Rumble, and like knowing half of the people like who are gonna be in it beforehand. Like the whole like one of the big like fun aspects of the Royal Rumble is not knowing who's gonna be coming out, and if you already know 20 out of the 30 people that are in the match, I don't know, it kind of takes some of the fun out of it for me.
Yeah, just to add to that, I think the women, I think it was last Sunday, I think they were announcing entrance every half hour, I think, on Twitter. So I guess it was just more of like a formality kind of thing, but I mean, I don't think there were too many surprises. I think more the normal names you would see on the roster on, every Monday and Tuesday, but I think they did something like that where they announced a entrance every 30 minutes on Twitter, which was kind of unique, but I don't know. I mean,
that doesn't like make sense to me though. I mean, it's you want to like you don't want to. For me personally, I don't want to be like know everyone that's going to be coming out. I mean, they've been doing this more in the past few years. They've been like making a big deal out of announcing who's going to be in it beforehand. Like last year they did it, and then I know like previous years. But I mean, also, like, there was a lot of people that, like, said they were going to be in it last year and then didn't actually show up. So it's like, it could be give or take as well with that.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I think Alexa announced that Monday, right? She's going to be in the Rumble, which, I mean, they could have made that a surprise. It would have been nice, but, I mean, it probably was maybe her call. But, I mean, it could have gone either way, I guess.
Well, yeah, with Alexa entering, I kind of had a feeling that she was eventually going to. I think it was just that, it could have been a secret, though. I feel like that could have actually been done better if they just kept her a secret, in a sense, because I feel like it could have been funny if maybe like she was like on commentary, or if she just didn't, or if she was like doing something else during the Rumble, and then all of a sudden like her music hits, and then she just like go straight into the Rumble, like what JBL did that one year in the Royal Rumble, where he, just his music just came up and he was like, "Well, time for me to get in there."
There's always like great moments that come from that, like that kind of thing happening, and that's one of the also like benefits of not announcing like beforehand. Because I mean,
sorry, go on.
That Alexa Bliss bit would have been great if she, like they had her doing commentary or just like even like standing outside like coaching, like just watching and waiting or whatever. Yeah. And then all of a sudden she comes in, like, without expecting her to be in the match.
Yeah, definitely. It's like those moments like that I really enjoy more. And I feel like lately that's what the Royal Rumble has been like kind of lacking at times. But, I mean, this actually wasn't something that I was like really thinking about. And it can be a little bit difficult to, like, to predict. But what are some, like, legends or... like some retired pro wrestlers that you think would actually fit really well in this year's Rumble, or that you would like to see in this year's Royal Rumble?
Well, I mean, I'll be a little biased here, but because I'm a big Shawn Michaels fan, so I would love to see Shawn Michaels make one more appearance and kind of do it with some of these younger talents, and then kind of help put them over. I don't know if we'll see The Rock this year. I mean, I've heard, rumors that he's coming to Mania and all that stuff. So I don't know how true that is, but it would nice to see The Rock in the Rumble this year. I can't think of anybody else that would really kind of mesh in this year's Rumble as far as a legend goes. Yeah, what do you think, Dom?
I mean, I think we might get some of the other, like, the classic, like, returns that we normally get, like, maybe, like, Godfather or, like, Goldust or even someone like Steven Richards or something like that. But, I mean, one that, like, I'm thinking about now that sounds a bit crazy, but I heard recently that Ric Flair had been cleared to compete again recently. And, I mean, I wouldn't put it past Ric Flair to show up at the Royal Rumble for like a few seconds and do something stupid.
I could literally just see him, like, running back and forth in the ring and just, like, doing that.
I mean,
woo! And then just, like, falling over, and then that's it.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a possibility. I mean, not a very big possibility, but that's just based off of something that I heard that he was cleared to compete again, which, I mean, doesn't make sense to me. But
Well, what about Hogan? Think that would happen?
that's a possibility now that he's back again
Yeah,
and
let's start
in
with that
terms with. But would they actually do it though?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Was he there just for Mean Gene, or is he actually going to be making more appearances?
I don't think any news came out of that yet as to whether it was just for that one thing or if it's a working, like, relationship with them.
Yeah.
But usually, once, like, the foot's back in the door again, it leaves potential for other stuff that's going to happen as well. So, I mean, yeah, that could happen as well. Hogan doing something.
Yeah.
All right, so now that we have some predictions about what might happen in the Royal Rumble, the entrance in the Royal Rumble, how about we just discuss some of the other matches that are going to be happening at the Royal Rumble? So I just, like, really want to just kick stuff off here and just say, why the hell is last year's Royal Rumble in the pre-show? Royal Rumble winner in the pre-show.
Which match is this? Shinsuke is on the pre-show. I didn't even hear about
The
this.
pre-show. He's the
Who is he facing on the pre-show?
Rusev.
Wait,
No.
so they're putting
The last year's
they're
Royal
putting
Rumble winner
the United
Shinsuke.
States Championship match on the pre-show.
on the pre-show.
On the friggin' Royal Rumble.
Yeah, if you look up on
Hold on, let me see
Wikipedia
this.
or just, like, well, anywhere, you'll actually see the two pre-show matches are Rusev versus Shinsuke Nakamura, and also Buddy Murphy taking on Akira Tozawa, Hideo Itami, and also Kalisto.
All right, I mean,
Yeah.
Cruiserweight title has always been fucking banished to the pre-show,
Yes,
unfortunately.
exactly,
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't agree with it, but I mean, that's how it's always been. I mean, that's until they figure shit out with that, I'll understand that. But why the fuck are you going to put the United States title match on the pre-show? Like, that just kills all the integrity of that right there.
Yeah, I mean, it's that, but it's
Like-
I think the thing here is it's Nakamura who was last year's Royal Rumble winner, and this is at the Royal Rumble this year, which is just like,
Well,
wow.
I mean, it also speaks volumes about what they did with Shinsuke Nakamura as well.
Yeah, I mean, they're not doing any justice with him. I mean, the guy's barely on SmackDown. I mean, come on. So, I mean, it's sad, but I mean, it's like, come on.
And all same thing with Rusev. Rusev is like was hugely over for the while with Rusev Day. Now that Aiden English is gone, we'll see how that's gonna play out if he can keep the popularity. But I mean, putting him on the pre-show after he finally wins the United States title, for like, people have been wanting this for how long? Like, that's just another slap in the face to Rusev as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't make sense. Especially, like, what doesn't make sense to me is they extended the pay-per-views an hour. Like, you're telling me now that with the extended hour, you can't find time to put that match onto the main card. I mean, all right, yeah. Here's the thing: they added the Women's Royal Rumble match. That now it
Pushes
kind of makes
everything-
sense.
Yeah.
It pushes everything back, but still,
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know. I feel like they could have put, like, a tag title match on the pre-show.
I agree.
That would have, like, the Shane McMahon match would have been a good pre-show match. Miz and Shane McMahon
Yeah.
versus The Bar. Like, all right, you can have that on the pre-show.
Yeah,
I would take it.
Which also kind of makes me, like wonder a little bit here. So, I mean, about the match here, The Bar versus The Miz and Shane McMahon. What exactly do you think like their relationship is here with The Miz and Shane McMahon? Is it really The Miz trying to become more of like a tweener, or is he kind of just still like a heel? Would you say? I don't know like what Shane is really, but it seems like he's also kind of like in the middle too.
Oh yeah, they're both tweeners right now.
Yeah.
I mean, inevitably one of them's gonna turn on each other. So
See, I'm hoping this is Miz playing the long game, and he's just gonna pull some like a fast one on Shane at the end.
Mhm.
Because to me, this whole storyline with him trying to impress his dad and all that, like, I don't know, it's not the Miz for me, and it's just, I can't get behind it until I know that like the end game is coming, and that there's there's a whole reason behind it.
It's
Yeah.
also just that I thought that he would be pissed at Shane for winning the cup
Well,
at Crown Jewel.
Exactly. Is what you're expecting at a Miz. Like, Miz is one of the biggest trash talkers. He's one of the most arrogant wrestlers, and now all of a sudden he had his chance at winning the World Cup taken away, and then Shane McMahon's my best friend. It's like,
It's suspicious. It's so suspicious,
Yeah.
like what he's planning here and what he's potentially going to be doing. It's really
So, yeah.
just like he's up to something, and you know.
I hope he's playing the long game on this one, and it's going to be worth it, because to me, it's just like kind of killing the Miz's momentum here.
Right. So now there's also Ronda Rousey versus Sasha Banks for the Raw Women's Championship, and there was some rumors going around that were actually just debunked, like later on this evening, that if Ronda Rousey, oh my God, I just can't talk today, but that Ronda Rousey was actually going to be looking to leave the WWE, and that was actually disproven. It's a clear rumor, but it seems like they're trying to build up Sasha Banks here and trying to make her seem like a little bit more of I guess like a little bit more physical in a sense, with her wrestling style, as I think you probably saw with her and Bailey lately. And it seems that now like they're trying to build her up in this way here to go against Ronda Rousey. Personally, I think that this is just built up for Mania. I don't think that Rousey's going to lose the title or drop the title to Sasha Banks. But then again, you never know. But I think it's just like kind of an appetizer before like the bigger match here, which will possibly might be Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch at WrestleMania.
See, I don't think that Sasha is going to win the title for the sole purpose of the the women's tag team champions are about to come up, and I think they're going to give Sasha and Bailey those belts first. I don't think that they would have Sasha win the women's champion and then win the women's tag champs as well.
Yes, that's a good point. I also think that they're going to be giving Sasha and Bailey, or Boston Hug Connection, what I think they're called. I think they're going to be giving them the tag team titles first, or potentially even the Riot Squad, just to kind of give it to a heel and to build up Sasha and Bailey even more. But yeah, I think that they are perhaps the top contender, or one of the top contenders at least, to win the women's tag titles on Raw. Well, Dave, like, what do you think? Same thing, or?
Yeah, same thing. I think that Sasha is. I mean, Sasha's a star. Once she gets in that spotlight, she's just, she's great when it comes to her wrestling. But yeah, I don't think she's winning that belt at the Royal Rumble. I think she's gonna be. She just basically is gonna giving Ronda a pretty physical match, hopefully, and kind of building her up for her Mania matches moving forward.
So now on to the next female match, and that's Asuka taking on Becky Lynch. And before I get into this one here, there was actually a really funny tweet that I saw where this one picture of Asuka where she was in Japan, and she looked like this, like, if you ever seen her wrestle in Japan back in the day, like, she used to wear like these crazy face paint and like contact lenses and stuff. Like, she looked like so freaking brutal. But yeah, one guy actually tweeted out saying, like, if this Asuka shows up then Becky's done, and then Becky commented back and said, actually, like, saw his tweet, which was pretty impressive, and said, "Oh, don't worry, I am actually very used to beating up people that don't know how to apply eyeliner or like apply eyeliner really badly." And she actually put like a picture of Ronda Rousey with like her like weird like eyeliner like makeup, and then oh my god, like everybody was just like, oh, like, yeah, I mean, I think that this one here is going to be a really physical match. I think that this is going to be, like, perhaps even, like, the match of the night here, because Asuka, who is, like, one of the most deadly female wrestlers in WWE, taking on Becky Lynch, who is a brawler style, and on top of that, she's just, you know, like, really good at trash talking. I think that this one here is going to get really crazy.
Yeah, I think even the past few weeks, these two kind of just getting like face to face and just kind of like going at each other, and just hearing Asuka just like go off in Japanese and just like in her face is just the greatest thing I've ever seen. It's really, I'm really looking forward to this match. I think it's really going to be a show stealer.
When Asuka yells in Japanese, it is legitimately really, really scary. Like,
God.
This is why I do not mess with my fiance, because I do not want that in my face. Like, I do not want to hear that, because if that's like literally how like you know, being angry in Japanese sounds, because I actually never really heard like or been yelled at in Japanese, but if that's literally how it sounds, then I don't want it.
Oh, it's scary, all right. It's real scary.
Yeah. Dom, you thinking that this is going to be a great match?
I think that's going to be a crazy match. I mean, yeah, I mean, Becky has been really bringing it for the past few months, and Asuka is finally getting the chance to bring it. And I think now that both of these guys have the chance to show off what they actually can do in the ring, I think that we're in for like a real show with that one.
Yeah, it's really nice to see Asuka actually getting the spotlight, because for a little while there, like, you know, she was first, like when she first came on to Raw and also on SmackDown, she was getting a bit of a push when she went up against Charlotte, and then also just like destroying the Raw locker room, and then all of a sudden, like, there was like that period there where she was just getting like a 5-minute match. She wasn't getting like the spotlight that she deserved, and then finally she, you know, is, you know, the women's champion, the SmackDown Women's Champion. So, you know, it's really nice to see her actually getting that respect that she previously had in NXT, and also like being able to work a match now with Becky, which is also really good. But yeah, so the other match here is Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles, and with Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles, it's honestly like we've seen this before, and you know, I think that this is probably the last time that we're going to see Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles, if not for a while. But I think that here, I'm honestly seeing Daniel Bryan retain his title for right now, unless if they have other plans in store for AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan. But either way, even if they do continue their feud, I still, in some way, shape, or form, I really still see Daniel just winning the title. Keeping his title here.
Yeah, I think Daniel's going to retain. I mean, I'm honestly really enjoying this feud that they're having. Like, the packages that they've been doing back and forth with each other have been like highly entertaining. I mean, it's like one of the best title feuds that we've had in a while, I think. I mean, the two of these guys, and then I know like in ring they're gonna like put on a hell of a show as well. Like this match, if like, I'm hoping that they give them time to work, because if they give them the time to work, then they're just gonna like go crazy and beat the hell out of each other. And like, I think this will be the most physical we've ever seen AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan in the WWE, and it's something to look forward to for that. But I mean, honestly, I could actually see them continuing this feud into WrestleMania as well. But we'll see. We'll see where they go with it. It's going to be interesting to see how they close this one out.
Yeah, I'm interested to see, like, because I think Bryan's going to keep the belt. I want to see what happens to AJ after this match, because remember when Vince got in his face and he just slapped Vince afterwards, and he wants to see the Beast unleashed or something like that in him?
Yeah.
I want to see if AJ actually goes into this like dark, you know, tormented soul of his, and just, you know, ends up just, you know, wrecking shop and messing everything up.
Yeah, that would be
So,
interesting to see.
we could see something like that if he doesn't win this belt on Sunday. But
Yeah.
yeah, the build up for this was pretty interesting. The whole concession stand thing, and that was crazy.
I love those. Those
Yeah.
segments were hilarious.
They're great. Yeah.
When he slapped the hot dog out of that guy's hand, I was just like, oh my god, that was the most funniest thing I've ever seen. Just like,
Oh my
no, no hot dog for you.
Oh.
I kind of just like want to go to a show and just like have like like 2 hot dogs like right by the railing. Like when he comes out, just be like get my hot dog, or even better, dress up like in a hot dog costume. Just be dancing like when he comes out. He'll probably come over and just be like, fickle. You're so fickle. I'll be like, no, I'm not fickle. I'm a hot dog. I don't know what you're talking about. And then there's the other big match here for the Universal Championship, and that's Brock Lesnar taking on Finn Balor. So they're trying to make this into like the whole David versus Goliath match here, where it's Finn, who is obviously like a quarter of the size of Brock Lesnar, not even taking on Brock, the Beast. And in this match right here, it seems that Finn is obviously getting the backing from John Cena and obviously the audience. Brock, I think people are just sick and tired of seeing Brock having the title. So honestly, I really think that Vince wants to keep the title on Brock until Mania. Like, he really does. I think that honestly, because if Vince is really listening to the fans, I think that he might honestly give Balor a shot here. I think it's a long a stretch, but look at how they're trying to build up Finn here with having John Cena actually like endorse him, and then basically just trying to build a big support around Finn Balor. I think that he could potentially take the title from Brock at the Royal Rumble, but I think that if he doesn't, it potentially could open up a lot more possibilities for him at Mania as well.
Yeah, I think this is a really this could go either way. I mean, the way they've been booking Balor the past few weeks on Raw, it makes it seem like he's gonna win the title, and they're getting behind him, and they're gonna pull the David Goliath thing, which we've seen a million times. We've seen it with Rey Mysterio. We've seen it with countless other people. Nothing's coming to mind, but we have seen it a million times. But I think my main issue here is the way they've also been booking Brock Lesnar. Look at Brock Lesnar's last match against Braun Strowman. He absolutely destroyed Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman couldn't get any offense in, nothing really happened, and it was just a complete domination. So you're telling me Finn Balor's going to be able to, and we got into this argument over this last time as well, with Daniel Bryan, because how do you expect me to believe Brock Lesnar is going to lose to Finn Balor after what he did with Braun Strowman? I mean, yes, there's the speed advantage, there's the quick, there's the, Finn Balor has some, sneak moves that he could pull on Lesnar, but at the same time, it's if no one has been able to put Brock Lesnar out before, I can't really believe Finn Balor is going to be able to be the guy to do it.
Do you think that they're trying to build up a little bit of a Eddie Guerrero versus Brock Lesnar at No Way Out back when that was? Because if you remember in that match, he was throwing Eddie all around. I mean, yes, Eddie did get in some offense. I think probably more than what Braun got in. Mm-hmm. But most of that match though was just Brock just dismantling him until somebody else came out. And in this case, it could be Braun.
I would have no problem if they had Finn go over Lesnar, and if circumstances was different. Yes, Finn can definitely beat Lesnar, but not the way that they've been booking him lately.
Yeah.
And I would love to see Balor get the title back, but I think someone else needs to someone would need to beat Brock for the title, and then Finn can take the title from them. From me.
Yeah, that's one way of basically putting it and doing it too. Dave, do you think that Finn has a chance?
Whew, I'm all in on Balor, honestly. I've been a huge fan of this guy since his NXT days and his call-ups. I'm honestly getting sick of Brock, showing up, 4 times a year, 5 times a year. It's like it's just really getting, he's basically holding the belt hostage at this point. And if Vince really is listening to his fans, I think this is the time to pull the trigger. I think you take the belt from Brock, you give Brock his big match at Mania against whoever, and you have Finn move forward, and then we actually have a champion every week, going into this thing. So I'm all in on Balor this weekend. I'm pulling so hard for him. But I mean, yes, all in.
That's not till September.
Cease and desist.
Yes.
I mean, I definitely think that this could really go either way. I think if Finn does win it, then maybe this really does show that there really is going to be a slow and steady change in WWE, because there has been so many people wanting to see Finn get a push again, and he was the first Universal Champion. He was in fact the first Universal. He was
the first, but he only held the belt for less than a day.
Yeah, exactly. Like, because he got injured, and that was
And they haven't done, like, they've had multiple opportunities to give him the belt again, like, since then, and they've just made no effort into it.
Yeah, we didn't see what he could do. Like, we never saw what Finn could really do. And
when he came back, they threw him back right into the mid card, and they never really even like teased with him in the heavyweight picture again.
They never even gave him like the IC title or like anything along those lines either. So in my opinion, they didn't really do too much with him in the mid card either. It was just like a total waste. But I think what did it was when he went to NXT UK and he made a surprise appearance there, and people went absolutely crazy. And I don't know what it was, but he was a completely different Finn Balor at that event, and people liked what they saw with Finn Balor and what he was doing. More like in his element. So I think when Vince saw that and saw how much reception that was getting, he decided to put him into the main event, and I guess to try to build to see what he could really do when he loosened the chains around Balor a bit. In that sense.
And even that appearance he made at the Takeover UK, that's the Balor I want to see moving forward. I mean, the guy has all the talent in the world, and they're not using him properly. So if Vince sees that now, then I'm crossing my fingers that it happens Sunday. So
yeah, same here. So since we can't really discuss so much about like how the Royal Rumble matches are really going to go, because it's just literally like a big cluster in there, just tell me like right now, who do you think's going to win the women's Royal Rumble? Like who's your pick for the women's?
Damn. Yeah, I thought about this one for a while. Okay, so I can't see Ronda, Becky, and Charlotte not being at Mania in some match in some format altogether. The way I would book this is you would have, well, Becky would have to lose against Asuka first off. And then the last two women in the Rumble would have to be Becky and Charlotte. And I think they could pull it off if they do what they did with John Cena and Batista years ago. Have both their feet touch the ground at the same time. And create some controversy, create something like that.
They actually both touch at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, yes. They would have to pull it off. That would be something if they could pull it off. But, I mean, that would probably be my way of seeing it and how they would book it, but I mean, they could alter things after the fact. But I would go with that route. I would want to see that happen actually for the women.
Dom, who's your pick?
I mean, personally, I would love to see Ruby Riott win the Rumble, but I mean that's not going to happen, unfortunately. I think Dave is right. It's going to be like either Charlotte or in some form, or potentially if Becky Lynch enters the Rumble, or even Sasha as a surprise entrant. One of those three.
Yeah, probably. I'm thinking probably like if Sasha or if Becky loses and if they enter, quite possibly one of them. I would possibly think that maybe even Alexa Bliss maybe might make it to the final, but
there's also Nia Jax potentially as well.
Yeah.
But it's like,
yeah, but she
are
already
they
won
really
like a
gonna
couple
go
of
that
battle
way?
royales and stuff like that. I don't know if they would give her the Rumble. Do you think?
I don't know. Right now, the climate is just reading Becky, Charlotte.
Yeah, that's basically it. But I mean, then again, like you never know. They could always do a little surprise, like maybe Ruby Riott. But I mean, like how would that fit in? Like it wouldn't really make too much sense.
It wouldn't. It doesn't fit into the story at all.
Yeah.
And that's the issue, and that's why it's like, all right, well, everything is already pretty much written out. It's just how are they going to play it out?
Yeah. So how about the men's? Who do you got for the men's?
Well,
yeah, all right,
for me, yeah, I think as much as I don't want to admit to it, I think it's going to be time John Cena finally breaks the record and with the World Championship title. I think Cena's going to win the Rumble and he's going to win the title at Mania.
You think he's going to break whose? Is it Ric Flair's title?
Ric Flair's, Ric Flair's record for 17-time World Champion.
Oh, jeez. Dave, what are you thinking?
Just to piggyback off my last prediction with Finn Balor winning, I kind of have my final four as Samoa Joe, Mustafa Ali, Drew McIntyre, and Seth Rollins. And I kind of have Drew McIntyre win this whole thing, actually.
Drew McIntyre is interesting.
Yeah,
I think that's a good pick as well. I mean, that was one of the other things I was thinking.
I was also thinking.
I don't know if
Samoa
they're ready
Joe.
to pull the trigger on him either, though.
Oh yeah.
They've been teasing it with Drew McIntyre for this past year, this whole time. He's finally in the heavyweight picture. Well, not even. He hasn't really made his way into the heavyweight picture yet, but he's been pushing his way up there. But I'm just hoping they're ready to pull the trigger on him because he does deserve it.
Definitely. Yeah. I was also maybe thinking potentially even Samoa Joe because they haven't really been doing too much with him, but they always keep teasing him as being a like going for, they always like wind up giving him some title shots, giving him, an edge in various different like main events or co-main events even. But I feel like it's very possible that Joe might even be able to step up because they've been, especially like on last SmackDown when he got RKO'd by Orton. It seems like he's really intent on making an impact when he gets into the ring for the Rumble.
Yeah, that guy, he made an impact at the end of the show, man. I mean, just choking everybody out and just, he ruined that main event, by the way. I'm kind of pissed about that.
Yeah, everybody was pissed. They were like, oh, come on, really?
It was so good, and he ruined it. And then Orton, where'd he come from? Where's he been?
Well, out of nowhere.
Well, he came out of nowhere like he always does.
Exactly.
Well, that's his gimmick. All right, I get it.
All right, so
I mean, you're right. He hasn't been doing too much lately. I mean, he was doing his feud with Jeff Hardy for a bit. I mean... But it was like an on and off feud. Like he'd be there one week picking on Jeff Hardy, and then he wouldn't be there. And then another week he was picking on who was it, Rey Mysterio for a little bit.
Yeah.
But like, it seems that they're not really committing to anything they're doing with him right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's basically what we have going on for the Royal Rumble. Let's head over to NXT Takeover Phoenix. So let's start over here with the King of Bros, Matt Riddle, taking on Cassius Ohno. Is it
Cassius Ohno?
Cassius Ohno. So once again, I still need to get into NXT. I mean, I know a few of these guys here. Luckily, actually, I know quite a few of these guys on the card here. But I know Matt Riddle. Guy is just hilarious. I mean, the guy. I love his gimmick too, and also the fact that he used to be a UFC fighter is pretty awesome. And just his theme song cracks me up. Like, bro, what's up, bro? And he also kind of dresses like he should be in Kill Bill. I know. I don't know what's going on with that, but that color coordination right there.
Yeah.
So, what are you guys thinking with Matt Riddle taking on Cassius?
Well, the whole story here is that Riddle, pretty much knocked him out at the last takeover, and Ono got pissed. So Riddle and Keith Lee, you guys know Keith Lee, right?
Yes,
I
know Keith.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're friends. So Keith Lee took exception to, I think when Riddle had a prior match with Ono on NXT, Ono attacked him and like threw him into the stairs and did all this stuff to him. And then Keith Lee was pretty pissed about that. So Keith Lee ends up having a match with Ono at a next NXT taping, and Ono ends up beating Keith Lee, and then he kept attacking him after the match and everything. And then Riddle came out and just like tried to even the score, even though he wasn't like clear to like come back and compete at the time. So that's this whole feud kind of just like set fire, and I think Ono is going to get a receipt back on Riddle. I think he'll take this one though at a takeover.
See, I think Riddle's going to take this one due to the fact that Riddle is still like making, it's not really his debut match, but it's still like his big, like his first takeover match. It's his big debut. I don't think they're gonna give him a loss like this early. Like, I mean, that kind of really hurts him pushing forward if he takes a loss this early. I mean, yes, it is like against Ono, who's a veteran in NXT. So I mean, it's not gonna be a huge, like, it's understandable, but
yeah,
I think that he's gonna take the win to keep his momentum up in his debut.
Yeah.
Interesting. Then we have the awesome, the high flying and the guy who just does the stuff that I just don't know how the hell he does it. Ricochet taking on Johnny Gargano for the North American Championship. So I know that it's predicted that Gargano might actually be going up to the main roster, and that this here is really just a dream match, a match that people just like really want to see, if not like a dream match to some others between Ricochet and Gargano. So obviously, like for me here, even though like I don't really like watch so much NXT, but I do kind of think that Ricochet is probably going to be the one that's going to take just walk away with the title again here, because Gargano is probably going to be moving up to the main roster soon. What are you guys thinking on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think again, like potentially Gargano is going up. I'm a huge fan of Ricochet. Like I love everything that Ricochet does. He's always been one of my favorites. Like everything he does in the ring is just like spectacular, and like you're never going to be bored watching a Ricochet match. But I mean, I think this could go either two ways. They could have Ricochet retain, Gargano puts him over, and it seals his fate there, and Gargano goes up. Or it could potentially see a swerve and have Gargano take the title and Ricochet move up to the main roster, and have Gargano stay on NXT for a little bit longer.
True.
Yeah, this one was, I think Ricochet could retain it, but he could also lose it as well, like Dom said. I mean, because they've been teasing it, but they've been kind of having Gargano and Ciampa kind of have these weird little like coincidences where they're kind of helping each other these past couple of weeks, and everybody's thinking, oh, the DIY could get back together, but I mean, it could not. I mean, it's just a tease at this point, but I mean, do
we want to see them teaming again, or do we want to see them fighting?
As a heel tag team, I mean, it wouldn't be too bad actually. But I think, I'm gonna stick with Ricochet. I think he's gonna retain it, honestly. I mean. Yeah,
that's what I'm also feeling too with Ricochet. So the tag team match for the night here. These guys have held the titles for so damn long. Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong, from the Undisputed Era, taking on the Raw Raiders here. So I don't know like when the Undisputed Era is going to be moving up to the main roster, or when they plan on dropping these titles. But if they were to drop it, let me ask you this here: if they were to drop it, why would it be to the War Raiders? Why?
Well, because the War Raiders are up. They just signed the War Raiders, and they are like another great tag team. And this would be another passing the torch moment. I mean, I think this is the time for them to drop the titles to the War Raiders, because I mean, personally, I don't know. I mean, I know who the War Raiders are, and I don't know how big of a name they are, like outside of like people who watch like general wrestling. But I mean, I think this is a great chance to put them in a spot as like holding the stakes and the tag team division on NXT for now.
Yeah, so just to piggyback on that, Dom, you said the War Raiders. I think, well, the War Raiders are known as War Machine. They actually fought in New Japan actually for a while.
And then they were in ROH for a while as well.
Right, exactly, yeah.
At Warbeard.
Yeah, exactly. I could see Undisputed Era retaining here, and then possibly having the War Raiders win it during WrestleMania weekend. I could see it happening probably there if they're going to really pass the torch. But, I mean, it could happen here. I mean, we could be shocked and surprised. I mean, it could go either way. But, yeah, two good teams, and it should be good.
So you would say that they would save the big like torch passing for WrestleMania weekend. Would you say that would be War Raiders if they did let it go longer, or would you say that it potentially could have gone to a different tag team?
Yeah, I think the War Raiders here, that they are the next team to
contenders.
take it. Yeah, the top contender. I think they're the team to kind of take it from them if they were going to pass it. So, I can't think of any other tag teams
Unless
right
they're doing the DIY, and then
now. Oh, yeah.
then there's that potential for that to happen Mania week.
Mm-hmm. Very true.
Yeah. So now for the NXT Women's Championship, we have Shayna Baszler taking on Baszler. Shayna Baszler taking on Bianca Belair. So honestly, I have to just say like Baszler's probably going to be the one that's going to like retain here. I think if she's going to drop the title, I would have to say it would probably have been to Io coming up. I don't think that Belair is going to be able to take the title from her at Takeover here. But I mean, if she was to drop it to, if Baszler was to drop it to Belair, like why would it? Why would she drop it to her?
Again, it's Royal Rumble weekend. Everything here is to pass the torch and to move up to the main roster. All the answers are always going to be the same in this situation. Any title that changes hands, it's just to promote a promotion. I think we could see that happen here with Belair taking the title and Baszler getting called up to the main roster.
So you think Baszler, like her time is like you think she's ready for the main roster then?
I don't think. Well, here's the thing. I don't know if she was ready for the main roster, but the main roster is ready for her.
Especially with Rousey,
Let's put it that way.
Yeah, especially because like I've been hearing some stuff like her, and also with Baszler's. Who are her friends again? That also just like came into NXT as well. They were also ex MMA fighters.
Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir.
Yeah, and I've been hearing that they are going to potentially join up with Rousey.
Yeah, this is what we could be seeing. I mean, this is to me this Sunday is the greatest wrestling time of the year. It's the most wonderful time of the year.
The most wonderful time of the year, everybody.
Can answer a lot of questions.
Everything is going to be shaping up. Everything's going to be coming together. I mean, this could be another factor that we see going into Mania. We could see Baszler setting up with Rousey against Charlotte and Becky, like the four horsemen versus four horsemen type deal going on.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
That could be a potential thing that we see going into Mania.
True. And just for the known fact that Bianca Belair she's undefeated, by the way. She keeps mentioning that every week she comes out, so that's the only reason I would say she captured a belt. But I mean, I think Baszler keeps it here. But
and they basically pins that first loss on Bianca.
Yeah,
everything this weekend is unpredictable.
Toss up in that one. Oof.
Yeah, totally. So what about Tommaso Ciampa, or Ciampi, as Moses calls him, taking on Aleister Black?
This is going to be a hell of a match. I'm just saying this right now. These two guys are going to beat the living shit out of each other. And I'm going to love every second of it. But
oh, yeah.
I think this, again, it's a toss-up as to who's going to win the title here. I mean, I think Ciampa's going to stay champion on this one. I mean, both of these guys are ready to go to the main roster. But I also believe they both have a lot they can still offer to NXT, staying there as well. So, I mean, I think they could give the title back to Alistair, and we can still like see a lot with that. And Ciampa stay in NXT after dropping the title as well. This, I don't know. It's tough to say on this.
Yeah, I kind of want Alistair to win it just for the fact that he kind of got robbed in his last title match against Ciampa. You know, Gargano super kicking him and whatnot.
I agree on that one.
I kind of want him to win, but I feel like Ciampa is going to keep it? Question mark. So again, another toss-up, guys. I don't know. This one is I'm going to stick with Ciampa, but it could go either way, honestly.
Yeah, I'm thinking Ciampa too. I think that they're going to keep Black in NXT a bit while longer, because he's just been in it for so long, like already, and he's already been like kind of like a face of NXT. So I think that they probably want him to remain there. So I think that this is also a big toss-up with me. I think that Black could win it, or Ciampa could even retain, either or. So what would you guys say would be like the match of the night here?
To me, I think it's going to be the main event: Ciampa versus Alistair Black.
For me,
but
I'm thinking.
Also,
oh, sorry, go on.
Ricochet versus Johnny Gargano is very close.
Oh yeah, I actually want to say Ricochet's match is going to be the match of the night for me.
Yeah, that's my pick too.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so Jack Swagger. Jack Swagger is looking to get into MMA now. He's looking to make his premier match into Bellator. So, do you guys know who he's going to be fighting?
I remember the name because he was just on an interview on the radio yesterday that I was listening to, and the name is slipping because the host had gotten it wrong, and he was making fun of the host because the host got the name wrong.
Oh boy!
I believe his name is John Wayne.
Something Kaiser, right? I think it is Kaiser. His last name. Hold on a second.
We can pull it up. The power of the internet.
I'm looking.
J.W. Kaiser. Interesting.
Yeah, J.W. Kaiser. I don't know what J.W. stands
for. They were saying something about John Wayne.
Let's see.
Yesterday during the interview, and I think that's what he was making fun of him about.
John Wayne Kaiser. Yeehaw.
This guy, he's 1-1, I believe they said he is. So I mean, it's also a relatively new fighter. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're not going to put him in there against someone that's like a highly trained veteran for his first matchup.
Mm-hmm. Get him in there against Fedor. You can take him. Get him in there against Fedor. You got him.
I mean, in the future, potentially, yes.
Not right now.
I think this is going to be interesting. I'm really excited to see what he has to offer, because he has some incredible amateur wrestling skills, and it's going to be really cool to see him get to showcase this like more than he actually got a chance to in the WWE. And I was listening to him, like I said, I was listening to him on the radio yesterday, and he sounds really excited to be doing this, and he's excited to get the chance as well.
So going up against JW, how do you think he's going to fare? Do you think it's going to be a pretty even fight? Do you think that Swagger has the edge here?
Well, it depends. This guy, I mean, I don't know much about this J.W. Kaiser guy. If he's a brawler, if he's a striker, if he's a wrestler. I mean, if this guy is not a wrestler, I think Jack Hager could have an advantage here if he gets into the ground, which could play to his hand and give him a big advantage, and possibly getting his first win. I mean, it really depends on what type of style fighter this guy is. I mean, and then how he's going to counteract with that. So, yeah.
Definitely, I think that the first match could really make or break somebody. I think that, just like what it can do to your confidence. I think Jack, he's got this, though, because he does have a really good amateur wrestling background. On top of that, I think he's a confident guy walking in there. I think he's been training really hard. I think that he should be able to at least put on a really good match, a really good fight. I think that even if he doesn't win this one, I think he could potentially just keep getting better. He's still a pretty young guy. Like, I think he could go for quite a while.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see like what Swagger has to. I mean, it's a completely different story than CM Punk making his his MMA debut, because CM Punk went in with no training. Well, I shouldn't say no
He's an
training, but
interesting case because he does have a jiu-jitsu background, but from what I heard, he was like doing some MMA training, but like
it was limited.
yeah, he wasn't a master. Like he wasn't a master of like.
I think we're gonna see more of a case of what happened with Brock Lesnar when Brock Lesnar went to MMA. I mean, Brock Lesnar was also a skilled wrestler. He's a skilled brawler as well. It's going to be interesting to see how Jack Swagger fares, like in the stand-up department.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
the other thing too about Brock is that he did lose his first match against, I think it was Frank Mir. But look at what he did afterwards. And
that was based on a rookie mistake. He left himself vulnerable for submissions, which he wasn't ready for, and he got caught, and then he learned from his mistake, and he applied it into his next fight.
And boy, did
he dominated after that for a while, until he had his health issues.
Yeah.
Yes. So, in regards to Jack Swagger and his conditioning for MMA, I saw some pictures of him when he was still doing the indie circuits on pro wrestling. And honestly, like in a couple pictures, he looked like he was a bit out of shape. But now that I see him in MMA, getting ready for Bellator, he looks like he's slimmed down quite a bit. And he actually looks like he's in really good condition right now. How would you say that his condition is fares now compared to when he was in WWE in the pro wrestling scene?
Yeah, I've seen some pictures of him. He's really leaned out though. He's really like gotten in better shape. I think that his conditioning, if it holds up to a 4 or 5 minute round, I think it could be a advantage for him. But it's just a matter of how good is his chin if he's able to take a punch. How good is his stamina? Can he go 5 rounds? Can he do all these things that mixed martial arts is supposed to do? So it's going to be all these questions will be answered. I mean, Saturday we'll see what happens, how everything kind of works out for him. So, but yeah, it looks great. It looks great.
Yeah. I mean, he's going into his first fight, so obviously he's going to work on his conditioning. He wants to make sure that he's going to be able to compete for the full fight if he needs to. I mean, you would hope. I mean, some people don't learn. Like, there's been countless times where people are supposed to do that and they still don't listen. But I mean, you would hope that he seems like a smart enough guy to focus his training and to make sure he's in the best shape to stick into this fight. And I think he's going to be able to go the distance if needed. But again, like Dave said, it's whether he can take a punch or if he's going to get himself, depending on this other guy's background, if he's going to get caught in a submission or in a bad spot. You never know what's going to happen in an MMA fight compared to like someone making a pro wrestling debut.
Oh yeah, totally. So like, kind of going back to what Dave was saying about like his ability to take a punch and everything here. Like there's certain things that Swagger's going to have to build on and improve, obviously. But like, what do you say like his core strengths are? Like, what do you think is going to make him a good fighter when he gets into the octagon?
I mean, his amateur wrestling background is obviously probably his biggest strength. I would say look for takedowns. He's going to be going for a takedown. He's going to want to keep it on the ground. I'm not too sure. I mean, I guess we've seen a few submissions here and there from him, but it'll be interesting to see if he plays the submission game on the ground or if he's just trying for a ground and pound, which I think is what we're going to probably see, is him looking for better positions and just trying to drop elbows and punches and just be physically demanding.
Yeah, I think just kind of seeing him on the ground, getting in that half guard position and then trying to get into that full guard and seeing how he does, like you said, ground and pounding, and seeing how effective his punches are. And if he wants to do that, I mean, he could also just, choke you out if he wants to as well. So he's got a lot of options to weigh in here once he gets his opponent to the ground. So I'm excited. So
yeah,
I think that he's going to be quite similar to Brock Lesnar and some of like the other really great wrestlers that were in the UFC. I think that like Matt Hughes, for example, and Lesnar and a lot of other wrestlers, they have this ability to just take people down and just like once they get you down, then they just go into that ground and pound technique. They also have really great like resilience. Like they could take a punch really, they could basically just take a punch, and they just have such like a stiff stiff jaw and like resistance to a lot of striking. I mean, like obviously, like there's some exceptions and everything, but from a lot of the top guys that I've seen in MMA that have an amateur wrestling background, a very strong amateur wrestling background, they just have this mentality of like just being like not like a pure brawler, but they have like the grappling ability to back that up as well, to basically just like shoot in like for a takedown, basically just go, like just continuously just go and not stop, like how jiu-jitsu guys try to bring you down to their level and try to basically outmaneuver you in a sense and try to wait for you to make up a mistake. Wrestlers, they try to just pour on all like this constant attack onto you until basically they just get you into either submission, or they just wound up knocking you out either on stand-up or on the mat. I think that's Jack Swagger's style. I think that's what Jack's going to be doing in MMA. But the other thing too is that there was Bobby Lashley, who was also in MMA as well, and he also has a pretty good amateur wrestling background as well. Lashley was also doing pro wrestling while he was doing MMA, and Brock currently, he does WWE when he feels like it, but he also steps into the octagon here and there.
Well, that's also he's been teasing his return to the octagon, but nothing's actually been announced on that as well. So
I think his health is just an issue, dude. Like I think it's really what's holding him back. But I know that there, like what Lashley was doing, where he was going back and forth from MMA and pro wrestling. Do you think that we could see Swagger doing that as well?
I think that's a possibility with him. I mean, he was still doing indie shows quite recently for wrestling, and he's like in making his transition into MMA. And I think honestly we could see him bouncing back and forth between pro wrestling and MMA.
Yeah, If Jack is willing to, manage his schedules and kind of mentally get his mind prepared for wrestling and mixed martial arts, I mean, why not? I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's going to be his choice and his decision now whether he wants to, take on two sports and, go with it.
I mean, dude, if there's money, I don't see any reason why he can't. I mean, that's what matters, man, is the money, I mean, if he's getting payment from both, hell, do it.
Yep.
Alrighty. So that's all the time we have for you today on this episode of That's Not the Finish. We'll catch you again next time.